Wesley Trent Snipes was born on July 31, 1962, in Orlando, Florida, and spent much of his childhood in New York City's South Bronx. He gravitated early to performing, studying at New York's famed High School of Performing Arts, LaGuardia, then returning to Florida to graduate from Jones High School before coming back to New York for conservatory training at SUNY Purchase, where he earned his BFA and built the stage discipline that would anchor his film work. Those parallel identities, Bronx grit and classical theater training, explain a lot about what came later: the coolness under pressure on screen, the muscular diction, the sense that he could fit inside a role and also dominate it when the frame demanded. He started paying dues quickly. After television appearances and his film debut in the football comedy Wildcats, 1986, Snipes landed a pop culture lightning strike. Martin Scorsese cast him opposite Michael Jackson in the 18-minute Bad short film, 1987. The camera liked him immediately. He projects paradox, danger and poise, skepticism and play, qualities that read even at music video speed. That showcase introduced him to a galaxy of directors and casting agents. It also hinted at how he could bend genre to himself rather than the other way around. By 1989 to 1991, he was moving across tones and budgets with unusual ease. He could be funny and fleet in Major League, melancholy and romantic in Spike Lee's Mo Better Blues, and then coldly magnetic as drug lord Nino Brown in New Jack City. Around the same time, he appeared in Abel Ferrara's King of New York. These performances built the foundation for what came to define the 1990s phase of his career: an action star who could also play, with credibility, the dramatic center of a scene. He was as persuasive talking a character into a corner as he was kicking one through a window. The run that followed still looks enviable. In quick succession came White Men Can't Jump, streetwise charm without condescension, Passenger 57, an airport paperback turned into a glossy calling card, Demolition Man, big budget futurism with satirical bite, and U.S. Marshals, which confirmed his value as a marquee foil. Underneath those titles was an actor who could make the action read as character, decelerating a punch so you saw the decision in it, or tipping a line reading with just enough irony to keep the audience on his side while the plot tried to push him off. Then came the role that reset the superhero timeline. Blade 1998 put Snipes at the center of a Marvel property years before the MCU became a money machine and audiences showed up. With a budget in the mid-40s millions and a worldwide gross north of $130 million, Blade proved there was an appetite for darker, R-rated comic book films anchored by a black lead and a distinctive martial arts vocabulary. Two sequels followed: Guillermo del Toro's exuberant Blade 2, 2002, and Blade Trinity, 2004, and, for a generation, Snipes' silhouette in black leather and shades became the image that signaled Daywalker. Even now, discussions of superhero cinema's modern era make room for Blade as a proof of concept that arrived early and hit hard. His physical authority on screen has biographical roots. Snipes began training in martial arts at 12 and is widely cited with high-degree black belts in Shotokan karate and Hapkido. He has trained across other arts as well. That training shows up not only in the athleticism of his fights, but in the balance, how he uses stillness, or a precise pivot, as part of the storytelling. This is less trivia than grammar. The action beats in his best roles feel authored, not just executed, because the body language belongs to a practiced artist rather than a borrowed stunt. The public story takes a sharp turn in the mid-2000s. In 2006, Snipes was indicted on tax charges. In 2008, a federal jury acquitted him of the most serious counts, but found him guilty on 3 misdemeanor counts for willful failure to file federal income tax returns. The judge imposed a 3-year sentence, the maximum for those misdemeanors. Appeals failed, and Snipes reported to the Federal Correctional Institution at McKean in December 2010. He was released in 2013. The headlines were brutal and the internet nastier, but the legal record is clear and has been covered extensively. The arc that follows, professional, personal, makes more sense when you fix the facts in place. He paid his penalty and came back to work. What stands out about the comeback is how varied it is. He slid right back into high-octane ensembles with The Expendables 3, 2014, clearly enjoying the self-parody that franchise invites, and then swerved to satire with Spike Lee's She-Rock, 2015. On television, he anchored the Las Vegas thriller series, The Player, 2015, the kind of glossy network machine that needs a star who can deliver charm and menace on a weekly clock. A few years later, he delighted cinephiles with a comic turn as D'Urville Martin in Dolomite Is My Name, 2019, playing self-importance like a jazz instrument, and then stole scenes in Coming to America, 2021, as the preening, hilariously dangerous General Izzy. You could feel a performer relishing range after a long stretch in one key. There's also the entrepreneurial and literary branch of his life. In the 1990s, he launched Minaret Films, with a companion media arm, a signal that he wanted to shape stories as well as star in them. In 2017, he co-authored the urban fantasy novel, Talent of God, and in 2022, he returned to comics with The Exiled, a dystopian noir that leans into his taste for pulp textures and heroic loners. The pattern isn't, actor tries other things. It's a creative restlessness that keeps finding new containers. And so the biography resolves into something sturdier than a cautionary tale or a comeback cliché. He is a classically trained actor who turned into a global action star who weathered a public fall and kept working until the work spoke louder than the headlines. The record holds. The early theater in the Bronx. The Scorsese set where a young performer looked entirely at home. The 1990s when he was everywhere. The Marvel stake he planted before it was fashionable. The prison term served and the credits that stacked up afterward. The producer, the novelist, the comic book collaborator. The arc resists neatness. That's to its credit. It feels lived in, disciplined, resilient, and, even now, open to what the next frame might ask.